We judged two categories. The first was employee engagement. And in employee engagement, what we're really looking for is first people who are really focused on metrics, because employee engagement is such a soft category typically that you find people thinking about how they want to engage their employees, but not really being clear about how they're going to measure the effect of that. And I think our winner did a really nice job of tying the effectiveness of the work that they were doing to the purpose of the work. So why they were doing the work connected very much to the results that they were seeing. Also, we picked somebody that was a very small organization relative to some of the very big organizations who took a very purpose-driven approach to employee engagement. So they put purpose at the core of the business and then really started to think about how to engage employees around this purpose. Our highly commended is a very large organization running a very structured program, very, very focused on the data and the insights they were gaining from engaging employees, which ultimately then benefited their customers, which we really liked. So the connection between happier employees and happier customers and really demonstrating that linkage. I think what was really bold and inspiring for us was they decided to do something pretty radical for an organization that was very small and start from this idea that they need to append the business that they were in for 25 years by instilling a purpose for why they existed right at the core, and also really putting employee mental health as a primary focus for their business. Their employees were very distributed in many locations. They weren't in the same office all of the time, which meant that they needed to create something that connected people who were oftentimes working with other people around the country to some common cause or purpose. And we really thought that was a very bold approach to take. The other context here was they were very transparent about some of the big challenges they had as a business, which inspired them to take this kind of radical approach. I think the simplicity of a good paper is the real simple thought at the center of why you're doing something. So many times I think it's easy to get bogged down in the data and in the numbers and in the results, and to not be able to kind of go right back to why are we doing this and what are the one or two things we really need to achieve and how did we do against those, and then how did we do relative to other people in the category. The one other point I'd make is effectively not getting bogged down by what people in your category are doing or in a particular area are doing. Because I think take something like employee engagement. It's a very easy category to reinvent the way you think about engaging your employees and set a new bar as opposed to simply trying to live up to the bar that's already been set. I think, customer relationship has been talked about for years and years and years. And what was really inspiring for us here is a balance between the originality of the idea and the effectiveness of the campaign. And what our winner demonstrated was a real ability to connect effectiveness to original thought and do it at scale. And it was a real masterclass in focusing on the basics. So really getting under the skin of saying how if you do every little thing right, you get a fantastic outcome. Sort of almost this analogy of the British cycling team. 1,000 little things results in that gold medal as opposed to one obviously big thing. But all of it stemming from a clear objective that you're trying to achieve. And in the case of our winner, that's exactly what they were trying to do. What was really inspiring for us was this notion that it's very hard sometimes to focus on 1,000 little things and measure each of them incrementally in order to get to your overall objective. And these folks set up a really nice program to enable customers to have a better relationship with the organization by doing lots of little stuff proactively. They also took a lot of data, which many organizations have, and made them actionable at key points in time in the process. So rather than simply collecting data and reading about it in terms of historical reports, they were able to act on that data at key points in time in the process, really affecting the trajectory of how their customers engage with them. And the numbers were staggering, both in terms of how many customers they kept, how much churn they took out of the business, and more importantly, 40% was a reduction in the amount of discounts they actually used to give to customers. So they were giving people less discounts, yet keeping them for longer. I think what's different about the Excellence Awards is the real focus on results for a business. Oftentimes, I think so many marketing awards get caught up in the hype of the creativity, the hype of the Christmas ad, but don't really oftentimes track back to how is this changing the business of the organization fundamentally. And from my perspective, I think actually looking to make marketing a core part of a business, more than just an individual campaign, but effectively the voice of the customer in the business in order to shape the strategic direction of the company going forward is really what's appealing.